Hello, everyone. This is David Ellis, and I'm back with Nicole the Croce. And Nicole, we have a show today.
We do.
We
Hi,
got
everyone.
jazz in the club right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you hear our little background,
Mm-hmm.
and so today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We have podcasters from another podcast. That's the Pink Boom Lodge ladies. That's Patty and Amy. And so Patty and Amy are going to be joining us, and we're going to be tackling trauma, drama, divas, and dolls. Nicole, tell our audience about the trauma, drama, and the divas and the dolls.
Well, they seem to be coming out in droves lately. So today we want to address it because I think it affects all of our industries, and it's getting out of hand. So we really want to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of it. And it's mostly ugly. So, yeah, we want to address it.
All right, so without further ado, we're going to bring the podcasters on.
Mm-hmm.
Amy,
Hello.
Yes, hello. Hey,
and
Patty.
hello, Patty.
Hi.
Today's show is going to be off the chain, if anything, like what we did in the pre show before the show. So, guys,
Uh-oh.
trauma, drama, divas, and dolls. But before we get started, tell us a bit about Pink Moon Lodge and what you guys are doing because I'm enjoying the episode. So, let me ask you first and foremost, let's introduce yourselves and your podcast.
You first, Amy.
Okay, hello. Amy Kruzic here. We're with Pink Moon Lodge, Patty and I. And as though we are different, we are similar in some ways. We have found that out, right, Patty, in the last four
We certainly have.
episodes? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes,
we
we
have a lot
have.
of fun. We
We
have a
do.
lot. Yes, and she comes on my what do we say? Oh my gosh, my theme rides,
Oh,
right?
yes. Well, because
Yeah.
when we started the podcast, we were still working out the structure of it, and I'm somebody who's like, let's ad lib. We don't really need a lot of structure. And Amy's like, I think I need structure. And so and so she
I
came on
know.
like I think it was the second or the third podcast. She was like, I would like themes. And
I'm a
so now I
Virgo.
fondly you're there you go.
I'm a
That
Virgo.
explains
I'm a
it all.
Virgo.
But so I fondly call them Amy's theme park. And what's great about
Mhm.
that is I still get to fly by the seat of my pants in Amy's theme park. So it all works.
Yes.
But we wanted to do, because we're both spiritual gals. We've had lots of different experiences. We've learned a lot along the way. We follow certain teachers, etc. But we're also really wanting to keep it light and ordinary and everyday.
Mhm.
We don't claim to be experts really in anything. We're just having our individual experiences and our joined journey. We are really enjoying the journey together.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
like every podcast we have more fun, and we've had a lot of fun with how different we are. So we really are, and you'll see it
Yeah.
if you read the description of our podcast. We are really very, very different, but it's the difference between us that I think is making our podcast a lot of fun to listen to.
Yes.
So
Yes. I
Yeah,
would
agree.
you
it
agree,
definitely
Amy?
is.
I agree.
Yeah.
It definitely is. And so, today's giveaway is going to be a biohacking course, a complete biohacking course. For those of you who don't know what biohacking is the science of utilizing special techniques to reach optimal health. And so, what that
Oh,
looks like is for those of you who are having issues with your diet, for those of you who are having issues with your ability to sleep, and so on. Biohacking is the course for you, and we have it completely free for you. And we will be giving you the QR code in a little while. It is linked to our community, so you guys will have to sign up for the community, and you will get yourself a free biohacking course along with a bunch of other resources, including movie nights, which we are doing on Sunday. And we are going to be showing Peaceful Warrior for those of you who missed it, for those of you who
mm,
are spiritually inclined. And we're doing movie night a little bit differently because what we're doing is we're enabling the chat so that you guys can talk during the movie
Mm.
silently without
The
somebody getting
silent.
up and walking in front of you. Remember the old
Yeah.
days,
Yeah.
movie days?
Shh.
All right,
Yes.
so let us begin this topic. Trauma, drama, divas, and dolls. All right, so the first thing that we want to tackle is the concept of trauma. What are trauma people? People who I like to call it victim masturbation.
Mm.
And
Mm.
so, what it is basically they've experienced trauma, and everyone has experienced trauma. But what they do is that they stay in it, they glorify it, they
Mm.
make it part of their identity, and
Mhm.
instead of trying to erase it, they pretty much swim in in the trauma pool. And
Mhm.
so, we want to tackle this topic because I'm sure everyone listening to this broadcast right now knows at least one person who is so wrapped up in their own trauma that they can't see the forest for the trees. All right, guys, I throw it to the panel. Nikki, at you.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's all different types of trauma. I mean, there can be acute that there could be complex is the last one, but it just seems like there's so much energy put into the blame, shame, guilt of it, and they
Yeah.
try to suck everybody else into that vacuum of it.
Mhm.
And being able to be aware of it and just say, whoa, 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 that's not cool, and you can't keep doing that. But I think a lot of people that go through whether it's acute, chronic, or complex trauma, they really don't see how they're projecting out and how they're affecting others and how
Mhm.
unhealthy it really is because they live in
Mhm.
this vibration where they think this is cool, this is okay. So
Mhm.
yeah, I've
Yeah.
experienced that a lot, and I think that's why we're addressing it today because people need to get off and check themselves.
Mhm.
Honestly, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Patty, what do you think about the trauma queens?
Oh, trauma queens. My fave. No, just kidding. But yeah, I think that listen, and it is true. What David was saying and Nikki was saying. We've all experienced trauma. So we all experience trauma, and as humans, at some point, we have to decide what are we going to do with it. So it really is, what do you do with it along the way? Do you find a way to heal it? Do you turn it into a teaching? Do you turn it into a healing? Is it something that's going to help you be more empathetic to others? These are all outward face. How can I heal myself so that I can be more present in the world and in other people's lives? Because what happens is when you're so wrapped up in your own trauma, it is what we call narcissistic. It really does get to be that, where everything is focused inward. And no matter what you're doing in your life, no matter what your job is, no matter what, and especially if you're somebody who claims to be spiritual and a healer or whatever, there's you're not going to be able to um, really help other people if you can't get out of your own head, if you can't move on from that. So I think healing is really important, in that people should. There's lots of help out there to do it, and it's a choice. So ultimately, it's a choice. We choose what we want to do with our trauma, and that's just kind of how I feel about it, because we've all experienced it. And, we've been around people. I know I have so much respect for, being around people who seem to have had such challenged lives. And yet there they are smiling. There they are with a kind word. There they are being giving, wanting to make you a meal, wanting to, share a joke with you, wanting to lighten your day. All right. Those are people who, it's not that they haven't, they've been through an awful lot. It's what they decided to do with it. And so that's kind of my
Yeah.
take on the trauma queens. Yeah. It's not anything. It's not a throne you should be proud of. The trauma throne, really? You want to be, I mean, you might as well, sit on a bidet, or I don't know, just nothing. Sorry. I'm
I
sorry. I'm
I-
Mm.
That's right.
Don't
Clean
wear
it
it as
out,
like
right?
a
Just
badge.
clean it out.
Clean that shit
Clean it out.
out.
Check
Really?
yourself.
Clean it out.
Mhm.
All right,
With the
Amy.
visual. Yeah, I'm
Amy,
gonna. Okay.
Amy, in terms of the
I
the trauma queens and so on, have you actually met a trauma queen? And we call them trauma queens because their trauma becomes the first
yeah.
thing. It's like when people meet you and they advertise themselves by their trauma that they've had.
Yeah, their
Yes.
label. Their label.
Yes, they just
I'm a
start talking
survivor.
about themselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, I have, but I kind of don't keep them in my mind, so I'm trying to recall recall them. But
Okay, everybody, let me just say
I'm,
this. We have discovered that Amy has a very cold streak inside
She's
of her. We've
ice cream.
discovered
no,
this.
She's mean.
no.
You
She's mean.
I'm
She's
Amy's
mean.
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 I'm so mean, guys. I'm so mean. Let's let me just. I'm taking personal responsibility for that. But I'm not really mean. But anyways,
No, with this is it's an ongoing
I
people. It's a joke. It's just an ongoing
it's a
joke. I mean,
joke. It's a
Amy is
joke,
like the
guys.
farthest thing from a mean
It's a
person,
joke.
so we just thought we would have fun with calling her mean because
How,
you
how
know
do you how
I
do you
know.
because
deal
we're
with
mean.
trauma queens? How do you deal with
I
trauma
okay.
queens?
My visual of them is a tornado coming at you. Okay?
Mm,
Like a swirl, like it's fast, it's fast, and they want to suck you up in it, just like a tornado
Correct.
does.
yeah.
And then it's like, so what are you gonna do when that tornado lands and it's gonna
Hmm.
disperse? What do you do? Where do you land on that? Maybe miles away
Yeah.
from that.
Or
But
you
but
take
that's my
cover. You
visual.
know, you have
You
to
take
take
cover.
cover.
Take
But
cover.
you know what
I
you
mean,
said before too, Amy, about not being memorable? I thought that was a really good point. You know, like you're already like they're not the most memorable people that you've met.
yeah.
You're kind of like,
Yeah, no.
I knew
I
this
can
was a good
deal with
idea.
it.
I knew this, having the two of
it's
you
like,
on, I knew this was a
what
great
was her
listen.
name again?
Yeah, what was that?
Wait,
What was her name again?
What was your name again? Right, right.
What's her
You had
name?
trauma, right? Wow.
Oh,
Listen, which brings us into the
but
next section, which are the drama queens. So now the drama queens are the kind of people who will take a ball and they will run with it. You say to a drama queen something along the lines of, um, I think you smudged your lipstick. And then the drama
mm,
queen will run with that. It's like, oh my god, I've smudged my lipstick. I will never
you
get
have a
married.
mirror.
Nobody will ever take me seriously again. Oh my god, I'm like,
mhm,
these are drama queens. And here's the funny thing about a drama queen. A drama queen will amplify everything, right? So they're kind of close to the trauma
mhm,
queens. The difference being that the trauma queen would have probably experienced something that justifies a certain amount of melodrama, right?
mm,
But a drama
mhm,
queen will take everything and amplify it to the nth degree. And we're not talking about a situation where somebody has maybe having a, let me put it this way, a hormonal episode. Don't
mm,
Mm.
don't hit me, right?
mhm,
We're not talking about
mhm,
these kinds of things. We're talking about people that are stuck in default, that this is the way
Yes.
that they
mm.
operate. And
Can I
so,
Yeah.
say something? Can I say
go ahead.
something to this? Because somebody clicked in when you were saying that, and I'm going to say it starts young when they're young. Because in my preschool, I can recall this girl. Her name was Shayla. I think I remember her. She looked like Shirley Temple. She had these beautiful locks of hair. She was the sweetest thing, but she caused drama in the classroom. So I feel it starts young, and
We've lost
and it
Amy.
keeps going. The parents keep it going. Oh,
No, it's okay, Amy. Let's
hello,
continue
my
talking.
bad.
Yes.
Okay. So that's where I think that these drama queens start is young. I've seen them in the preschools, I've seen them in the schools. Um, and I think it just is festers because the parents, the teachers allow it because they don't know what else to do with it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Nikki. Tell me about drama queens. You must look. You do readings for people, right?
Yes.
So Nikki's a medium, guys, and she does readings for people. We've lost Patty, but she'll come back in
Mhm.
shortly. And so you must have come across people who just amplify whatever it is that's going on with them into just more drama.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, I've experienced all different types of clients, but some people create competition where it's unnecessary. And, it's a sign of insecurity. There's times that I have clients that want my help and they desperately want my help. And then there's other clients that just want to talk the whole time. So it's kind of hard for me to get a word in edgewise. Um, but I think a lot of times people are just in their way and they don't know how to unloop themselves and get themselves stuck. And that's where I come in a lot of the times. I think there's just a lot of blocks, but they amplify it with all the dramatic scenes that they create, and they keep creating and hoping people will just feed that energy in. So, yeah, it's really difficult, but I can see a drama queen the first second and I'm like, whoa, I have to handle this a little different because it's special. I want to help them heal from it, instead of perpetuating it. So,
Yeah, but we're going to get into the solutions in a while. But
hmm
let us move on to the concept of the diva. We're just going over them, and then we're going to give you guys tips on how to handle certain situations when you are meeting these kinds of individuals. The diva is the individual who goes by the appearance of things. Okay, so I don't need to be smart. I don't need to be have a personality. I just need to be pretty. That's what I need. I just need to be pretty. And so a diva is someone who will pretty up themselves just for the sake of being seen. So they fall into different categories, right? So you have divas who are attention seeking. I don't want to say the word on a public broadcast, right? They're attention seeking. And then you have divas who are divas because they feel a certain amount of social pressure, right?
Mm.
To be divas and so on. Now, my question is, being a diva must take a lot of effort, a lot of effort. Like I mean, like
Correct.
having to pretty up yourself every day
Yeah.
just
right.
so that people can see
Right.
you is a lot of effort. What are your experiences with divas?
Mm. Well, I could say that I've come across quite a few, and it is hard to keep up with because it's very expensive as well because of the plastic surgery. They're always trying to get the bigger butt, the bigger boobs, whatever, to keep up with the competition of social media. So that puts them into that diva mindset, and that can be very expensive and very mentally draining for them because even if they change a part of their body, they still have the mental issue that they didn't address, the root cause
Mhm.
of whatever the trauma, drama, diva, whatever it spiraled in from, So
Yeah.
yeah, it makes it worse. It absolutely does.
Yeah, we have to make a
Yeah.
distinction between people who just take care of themselves, right? Whether they take care of themselves. It becomes diva-esque when it is that it becomes a pathology. So when it is that you would rather look good than eat, as an example,
Yeah.
where when it is that 50% of your income is going towards prettying up yourself, like 50%, there are people who do live like that. So Amy, tell me
Mm.
about your experience with divas, because you
Did-
ran a preschool, so you had to deal with parents, and I'm sure there were parents who were divas.
Yes, I would say divas not necessarily look like that you were speaking of. The grooming that they need to go through. But yes, there were divas like putting like it would just be like my child needs this and this and this and this and I want this or I'm going to leave, this school, and always wanting, yeah, attention for their child, themselves. They make attention to themselves. They bring it on to themselves.
Hmm.
It's almost like they stir a pot, and once they stir a pot, then you got your attention. They have their attention. And they're
Impressive.
very clever. Yeah, they're very clever with that.
Yeah, that's true. Patty, you with us in spirit
Yeah,
or in
I
okay?
yes, I am. I'm here. I'm here.
We're talking about
So what
divas. Tell us about divas.
Oh my God. Divas. I've met a few.
Just a few.
I met a
Just a
few.
few.
Can you imagine me hanging out with a diva? I mean, It's just not going to
Yeah.
go well. It's
No,
not going to go well.
not with your blunt, not with your
No,
blunt self.
it's a
No.
disaster. It's a disaster. Um, and I had a cafe for 10 years, right? And it was mostly vegan. So and vegetarian. So, I did have some other dishes, but it was primarily that. So it attracted a lot of spiritual folks and vegans and whatever. And they can be divas. And so I did
Yep.
have a lot of divas that came around my coffee house, and my coffee house was like this really down to earth kind of place, and some of the things that they would expect it was really, really surprising. So food divas, like I've met vegan food divas who were like, so that veggie burger that you're making for me, is that going to be made on the same griddle as that turkey burger that you're making too? Is that going to be on like the same griddle? Can you make my veggie burger on another griddle? And I was just kind of like, I've got one griddle. Do you know how much this cost? It was just things, things
Listen,
like that
listen.
that
I
were
am
just kind of,
vegan, so I feel
yeah.
personally attacked. Let me defend the vegans
I'm sorry,
inside.
I'm not attacking, but you're not
Yeah, I
like,
know, I
but
know,
you
I know,
see
I
that.
know, I know, I know. Right? But so I'm vegan, right? And I can tell you that vegans are the biggest divas out there. Okay? No, I'm gonna say that a lot of them are very, I'm gonna say it on a live broadcast, they're anal, right?
Mm,
There's nothing worse than you running up into a vegan. I'm vegan, you're vegan, we should be cool, right? But no, I'm
mm,
wearing leather shoes. So that's a
uh-oh.
problem for you. And I'm like,
Mm,
yeah, I didn't become vegan for the same reason you did,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because it's not because of the same reason. You may have, because some people become vegan for health reasons. Some people become vegan because of animal cruelty. Some people become vegan because of some purist construct that they have in their mind, right? And so, Patty,
Yeah.
you run into that vegan that doesn't want their stuff griddled on the same.
On the same griddle as other things. So yeah, I've met quite a few divas. I've met spiritual divas
Oh
who
yeah,
were like,
Mm.
and these are like, they tended to be like yoga divas, like some. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend people who do yoga,
you cut
but
it
there are
deep.
so. I'm sorry. I don't. I'm just saying what I experienced. All right. See how it would be a disaster if I hung out with a diva because the stuff just
Exactly.
falls out of my mouth. But at any rate, but they would be kind of like yoga divas, like, they would show up at my cafe carrying their mat, or they walk around and they always have their mat, and they
Cringe.
wear like the super like yoga stuff, and they always like, they had certain bumper stickers on their cars,
Oh my
and they
gosh.
wore white, like, you have to wear white because, like, there were, like, there were a couple of folks who frowned upon, me having like a black apron, or like wearing black. It's like, I like black. I like black. What am I, dark evil now, or what is, I'm attracting negative attention, I'm attracting negative energy because I'm wearing black. But so they were, that I met quite a few um divas, and a lot of the kind of diva-esque attitudes in the spiritual community I found to be really, really judgmental, just really, really judgmental about everyone. Like, it was,
Hmm.
if you deviated, from their perspective of what, a spiritual person should be, or what a person who practices yoga should be, or what a vegan should be, you were a lesser human.
That is
You know,
correct, which
you
goes
were a
against the
lesser human.
principles, which goes against the principles that
Totally.
they're supposed to abide by. And I have to say that there are spiritual divas out there. They absolutely are. and I'll tell you how you know you're gonna meet a spiritual diva, because these are the kinds of people that will tell you, you know what you should do.
Ooh.
The word "should" always comes out of their mouth, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, yeah, but I did not ask you any questions.
Right.
So when I want your advice, I will send
Mhm.
you a card in the mail from Australia, right? But
Yeah.
before that time, I think I'm just gonna just plug on through life by myself. And it's not about not being able to accept correction. A lot of people are out there, and you could tell people who are new to spirituality, because these are the ones that run around and tell people what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be
Yeah.
doing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's
I call
because
it shooting. I call it shooting all over you.
yeah, they're shooting all over you.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So,
Yeah.
so Amy, tell us about your diva experiences.
I I just did. I thought with the school, mostly I was telling them, Patty, about school divas,
School
parents.
divas. Oh, parent divas.
Yes, parent divas. But
All
a
right.
personal diva, boy, I must be hanging out in the wrong circles. I don't know. I
You
don't
need to
know. I need to
you
get
need to get
out.
off the patio, Amy. You need to get off
I
the
need to get
patio.
off the
Get
patio.
up.
Yeah. Maybe they were earlier in my life, maybe,
Hmm.
you know, I'm thinking.
You know what I
So
found really interesting is like the folks often who would be the most disparaging, like if you kind of weren't quite this enough or that enough, were usually the folks with a coexist bumper sticker or a oneness bumper sticker on their car. I'm just saying.
I agree.
I know I'm offending people left and right, but I'm just saying these are my experiences.
And that's why we love you, Patty. That's why we
That's
love you. Let me
right.
tell you that right
That's
now.
right.
Which
They
brings
would
us to the
drive off. They would drive off and I would just go, huh, huh.
Right.
yeah, yeah, coexist over there. Over go coexist over. Listen,
Yeah.
so my thing with regard to the last group of people, the dolls. Let me tell you what a doll is. A doll is someone who looks pretty for the purposes of we call that, what is it that Nicole said earlier? It's a pretty privilege.
Mhm.
Oh, mhm.
Mhm.
I am
Oh,
pretty.
pretty privilege.
You
Yeah.
should take
Yeah.
care of me,
Yeah.
right? We
Yeah.
call them
Right.
dolls.
Yeah.
Dolls are there to be used, to be played with.
Mm,
Okay. And
Right.
so a lot of people deliberately set up themselves as people to be used and played with. Okay. And this is not a woman comment, this is also men comment as well. Okay.
mm,
Because
Mhm.
it used to be that we called dolls gold diggers, right? But in today's society, everything being equal as it is, we got gigolos left, right, and center around this place. You remember when we used to have shame, and you go out on a date with a woman and so on, and you would probably, I don't know, pay nowadays.
pay
I
for
don't
her
know.
pay for her meal,
Yeah,
open
open
doors,
doors and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
that
All of that
sort of
has
thing.
gone down
Oh, the
to
children.
the window. So I am laughing at the concept of dolls, because dolls will set themselves up. The pretty privilege. I am pretty. Everybody must
Hmm.
love me. Everybody must take care of me. And so I do not know
Hmm.
what your experience of this of the doll situation is. I worked in corporate for many years, so I could pretty much tell you um, most of the managers and the C-suite level uh, people who run companies, they purposefully go looking for women that are not very bright.
Mm.
I'm sorry,
Um,
was that
No, but it's
they
true.
purpose
They
they
look good.
yeah.
purposefully they look for women that are not very bright. What we used to call that is they look for something called eye candy. So when they go to the
Yeah.
Mm.
office party, the woman makes them look good. Does that make
Yeah.
Yeah.
sense?
Yes,
So
that
that
makes
would be a
Like a
sense.
doll.
tr- like a like a
Like a
trophy wife.
pharma.
Trophy wife, correct.
Yeah.
And it's
And they used to
rampant
come in the
throughout corporate. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
They used to call them well, okay. My thing with dolls was I'm not sure that I have well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe my sister is. I don't know. But
Did you?
no, I don't know. No, I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to say that. But growing up, I always have to go back because I think that the doll was a term that they used to say like you're such a doll. Like my mom's
Hi,
friends would always say
doll.
that. Hi
You're a
doll.
doll.
Yeah. Like it was endearing to me, the word doll. Now
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
not a
different.
compliment by any stretch of the
No.
imagination.
Not today. Not today it's not.
Mm.
Um yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but
Mm.
Yeah. I think
yeah.
that I'm not going to be too popular with the Kruzics anymore.
No.
Nikki,
No,
talk, talk about talk
no,
about a
no.
doll situation.
A
I was
modern
just
doll.
gonna
Modern doll.
I was just agreeing with you about corporate. It seems like everybody, and I hate to say it, but they're plastic. They're just,
Yeah.
yeah, they're just, I hate it. It's true. They're just sleeping their way up. And they just
Mhm.
do want eye candy. They want to look good at the dinners and at the, philanthropic events or the sponsor
Mhm.
event or whatever. So, and a lot of people play the part. They're like, all right, well, I'll just go get a bunch of plastic surgery and be dumb and just sit here and make
Yeah.
millions. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, just it's a thing now. It's a thing.
Mhm.
They've lost all sense of why they're there or reality or what's happening. They
It's
just
kind of
want,
like being
Yeah.
a pretty
yeah,
shell, like just a
right.
pretty shell
They're
Yeah.
signing
of
up
a
for it like
person.
it's okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
Now the
yeah.
thing about it, guys, is that it's a transactional thing, so the men do not
Right.
expect to have a discussion about the nature of reality with
Mhm.
the doll, right?
Mhm.
You're supposed to look good, you're supposed to fulfill a function, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
From a man's perspective, I don't know, probably I was born in the wrong time, but if I can have a conversation with you, what is the point, right? But then
Right.
I do realize that a lot of people who look for dolls, whether on the male or the female side, they look for dolls from a narcissistic point of view. Okay.
Mm. Mhm.
So I don't need to have a conversation with you. I can have a conversation all by myself. Okay. And
Huh.
so, like, it's such a sad thing because that's what it really reduces the human being to, the concept of just being a doll,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
The
I just wonder, like, like what do you talk about over breakfast? Because,
Yeah.
well,
there's
Nails.
morning and there's
Nails.
breakfast. And there you are with your coffee.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to speak. That's the thing. You just have to sit there
Oh,
and look good
oh,
and
okay.
butter
Sit
and
there
peanut
and
and
butter and
there's
look
bagel.
there
good with your coffee.
there's an inherent power dynamic with a doll, okay? Because like a little child playing with a doll,
Mhm.
right? The individual reduces the human being to just something that you play with, and if necessary, you get rid of it. But there are a whole bunch of people all over social media trying to make themselves into dolls. I think one of the worst things for our society nowadays is that OnlyFans construct. It
Yeah.
gave
Oh,
women,
yeah.
it did give women an opportunity to make money for
Yeah.
themselves.
Mhm.
Okay, so women had the opportunity to make money for themselves and so on. But by
Mhm.
that same token, the way you make money is as important as the money that you make.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And so if it is that there's a whole bunch of like for want of a better word, thirsty men out there looking to look at your body parts, and you say you're safe, you're on a camera, there's more to be lost in that equation
Mhm.
than just safety. There are other things that you can lose in that equation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I kind of I feel kind of split on that doll construct because the truth of the matter is, um, if you're a woman and you have a kid, right, and you may not have great education and so on, you have to provide for that kid. If you don't have a skill set and nobody's hiring you,
Right.
then you have a choice, right? But then
Mhm.
you have a choice. You either sell the dignity or you go flip burgers at
Mhm.
Walmart. If you go flip burgers at Walmart, some idiot manager is going to treat you badly. However, if you lose the dignity, then you're making millions, thousands. Some of these
Mm,
people are making millions of
Mhm.
dollars
yeah.
exposing
I mean,
body
it's
parts
the
on social.
basically it's what women used to go, and strip, like go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go work at the strip club, right? And now
That's a good
it's
question.
yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. You can be a stripper in the privacy of your own home. Basics, basically,
Isn't the
you
internet
know.
wonderful? Isn't the internet wonderful? Now, here's the thing about it. I don't know whether, and we're going to go over them and we're going to teach, do a little bit of teaching here. But with regard to the doll situation, that's such a torn up issue. It gives the women a way to make money. I don't know. I think of like dolls as those kinds of dolls that make money this way as like arms dealers. I can sell you
Mm,
guns,
Mm. Mm.
but I know that by selling you the gun, I am enabling a dark part of you, the part that wants destruction. So when a doll goes
mm,
on the camera and puts her body parts out there, she is selling men something that they want. It's a supply and demand situation.
right. She's
But let me tell you,
monetizing her body. Yeah.
what she's enabling inside a lot of these men will come back to bite her in the ass or her kid or somebody else's child. Okay? Because what it enables inside the men is a complete and total disrespect for women.
Mm,
So I don't know that I'm so torn where this is concerned.
Yeah.
I am torn where this is concerned. So let's go back to the trauma
mm.
queens. How does one deal with a trauma queen? I have my ideas. I'm gonna let you guys go first.
Patty?
Oh God, how to deal
Trauma.
with a trauma queen. Okay. So in other words, if I'm having a conversation with someone and they want to kind of just lead with their label or whatever, they're into their trauma. I actually have to decide how much energy I really want to invest in this friendship relationship. I'm sorry. Am I saying
Yeah.
the wrong thing again?
No,
Damn it.
no,
No.
Damn it.
no,
No,
no, no,
because
no,
here's
no,
the thing.
no.
Look, I'm
Bring
a
it
human
real.
being. I'm on the other side and I'm kind of assessing. It's like, wow, this looks like it
Yeah.
could be a high maintenance kind of friendship. It looks like every time we have a conversation, we're going to be talking about that. And so I might make an attempt or two. I might say, well, like a attempt or two to maybe talk about way more empowering ways of dealing with the trauma. Like for me, I spent a lot of time in therapy. I think the whole decade of my 20s, that's where all my money went. It's like, where'd your money go? Therapy. It went to therapy in my 20s. I didn't go on drugs or alcohol or buying a bunch of stuff at, Saks. It went to freaking therapy. So I think, like, we have to, David, it's true. It's true. I'm not lying. I'm not. That's actually not an exaggeration.
Okay.
Sadly, not an exaggeration. But at any rate, but we have, like I said, it just comes back to choices. So this person has their choice. So here you are. You've met someone, and I don't know about you guys, but when you're meeting someone, you have new acquaintances. You're kind of thinking, is this a relationship that I want to develop? Is this a relationship that's going to be
Mhm.
nourishing to me? And I don't mean to sound really so, but like, I think we all really kind of need to think about that. It's like you want to be able to have even exchanges. You want to be able to nourish them, and you want to feel nourished. So the last thing I want is to have a friendship where every time I spend time with them, whether it's on the phone or in person, I feel completely drained. I'm not doing that
Mm.
anymore. There are people who are willing to do that, and but I'm not. So I'm assessing at the beginning, and I might suggest certain things towards the beginning. But if they're really committed, I'm out. I'm out. Like I'm at some point I'm just not going to be returning their phone calls. I'll be honest with you. I'm not. No. Mm-mm.
I'm with you.
No. I'm not,
Uh,
and I know that
Everybody
sounds.
listening to this broadcast, if Patty
sounds
has not returned your messages
I know.
in a
You
while,
know why?
there's
you
a
know why.
You know why?
and I know. I mean, that sounds. I know that sounds really bad, doesn't it? I mean, I'm not a bad
No,
person,
it's real.
but
That's
No,
real.
you're
but
not
It
the
sounds
mean
because
one.
very
Amy
real.
is.
I'm not.
I'm
Amy's the
the
mean
mean
one.
one. I'm the
Amy's
mean
the one.
one.
She's the mean one. But I no,
Yeah.
that's kind of that's at this point in my life, and I think that there was a point in my life where I was more codependent. I hadn't had enough therapy. I just hadn't had enough therapy, so I was going in to the codependency kind of relationship, and I would hang in relationships like that for
Mhm.
much longer than was healthy. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't do that anymore, and I don't encourage people to do that. I think that any kind of relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship, you really have to look at, and I think it's fair to ask ourselves those questions. Is this relationship nourishing to me? I want it to be nourishing to them. I
Yeah,
want them to leave our conversations with a smile and a full heart. I want that in my relationships. However, if I'm feeling drained, really very
That's a
drained
big
after
sign.
every,
That's a big
then it's
sign.
a big sign, and it's
Yeah.
it's a no bueno. It's like I don't
Right.
I would rather have fewer friends, fewer relationships, but relationships that felt equally nourishing, where we both
Mhm.
walk away from our time together with full hearts. And so
agreed.
that's kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at with that.
All right,
I
Nicole, your strategies on dealing with trauma queens.
I agree 100% with
yeah.
Patty. I might be even
Yeah.
a little bit more brutal, and because of my intuition, when I meet somebody, I can sense it right away. I can almost smell it.
Yeah.
But I equate it with the Tower card in the tarot only because they seem to be living this perpetual Tower moment all the time, and they're just grasping, and I actually feel really bad for them. I usually shut them down pretty quickly, only because I can't tolerate it. I don't have the time. But I'll back away gingerly because I don't want to interact with that low vibration. It's all about a vibration. And if you're going to be in lack in that low frequency, I just don't even tangle with it. I just back
Yeah.
away because now if it's a client, it's different. If I'm
Yeah.
working with a client or if they're in counseling, then
Mhm.
I'll address it. But if it's just a random person at Wawa being ignorant or being extra, I'm like, yeah, okay. And I
Yes.
just
No,
keep it
that's
moving because
Yes.
right.
if I
Mhm.
engage, probably it's not
Yes.
going to turn out
Yeah,
well.
you're opening
Yeah.
that door. Yeah.
Yeah,
Agree.
and I
I
just
agree.
my energy is sacred, and I want, like
Mhm.
you said, good nourishing friendships. You want to feel lifted, you want to feel inspired. I don't want somebody to suck my energy. I don't. Time is
Mhm.
Yeah.
short,
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah. So I usually
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
avoid at all costs. Mhm.
All right,
I
Amy.
agree.
Amy,
I
what's your
agree.
formula?
Well, my formula is this, that
Mhm.
I had to be in it with them to in order to be able to recognize it and get out of it. So over the years, I had to be in the trauma. I mean, my sisters and I, we would go in that drama trauma phase, and I then at some point it was like, "Oh my god, stop. This is way too much." And then my intuitiveness clicked in, my skills came on, and now it is about the nourishing and what this is going to do for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I feel like, to get out of it would be boundaries for sure, and your
Yeah.
intuitiveness, and just
All
go with
right,
your gut, like, just know.
I just put a friend of mine, Nikki, that's Fraggle, by the way. All
Oh.
right, and so I just
Hey,
put a friend of mine's comment on the screen. But let me get back to what I'm going to answer your question, Fraggle, in a little bit. But let me give you my strategy, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an alternative. When a trauma queen approaches you, they want energy from you. They want your attention. They want you to feel sorry for them. They want you to do all of those things, right? If you want to diplomatically cause them to unfriend you, then what I would suggest is you become like The Rock. Oh, really? You had trauma? Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I understand. Oh, okay. After a while, that trauma queen is not going to like you at all, Dread. No, not at all. Oh, you had trauma? And the next time you see them, it's like, so how's the trauma today? Tell me. Such a
Oh
bitch.
my
Listen
gosh.
to me, right? You know, so how's the trauma today? Tell me. Is it really, really bad? And they're like, why are you deriving, all right,
Mhm.
some sort of sick enjoyment? And they're going to leave you alone. That would be the diplomatic way to go about it. Because that trauma queen is not going to check for you anymore. You are not giving the correct responses. And then you save your reputation. Oh, because all they're going to be thinking is that David is a bimbo. That's what they're going to be thinking.
David.
David
They're
is a
going to be
bimbo.
thinking, yes, full on bimbo level, right? You said that guy David, he's a bimbo, right? But to answer the question, what's up with persons who have suffered trauma and continue to wear it on their sleeve and are full of drama and also demonstrate traits of the diva? Yeah,
Mhm.
we call that person thoroughly, well, blanked up, okay? Because you know that
Mhm.
that person is a tornado of difficulty, right? So
Yeah.
my suggestion, if it is that you don't want to um be that kind of person to a trauma queen, is to become the bimbo, right? Get bimbo real quick, right? I don't understand what you're saying. What did you say? What did you say? Your boyfriend left you for a younger woman? Oh, was she pretty? Was she really pretty? Like, what she look like? What's her name? Where does she live? Can I meet
Oh
her?
my god.
You know, these kinds of things would piss off the drama queen, right? So you either have to grow, or that person will leave you alone. That is another way of going about it. But honestly speaking, um, I think that the same technique would be probably work for the drama queen. How do you guys handle drama queens? The amplifiers of the spectrum.
Same way. I just
Yeah,
don't
Yeah.
entertain them. I
you
don't
shut it
Yeah.
entertain them.
down.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, shut it down
Shut
quick.
it
But I do
down.
it with my
Mm-mm.
energy. I don't even have to say anything. I'm like, just
Yeah.
look at them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Nikki, exactly, because I think they
Mhm.
can smell it. I don't know.
Could
Yeah.
sense it.
And then
Hmm.
they approach you and you're like, "Oh no. Oh no."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I make
exactly.
Listen,
myself
Exactly.
unapproachable to the drama.
Yeah,
I just
Yes.
because
don't even.
listen.
like the dramas, the drama queens, they live their lives like they really like Shakespeare said, right? All the world is their stage, and so they are always looking for an audience, always,
Yeah.
and if they don't have an audience, they're not going to hang around in that stage. They're going to move on to
No.
where they have an audience for their drama. So you just don't
Listen,
provide the
I have
audience.
some techniques for dealing with drama queens on a personal level. If the drama queen is attacking you, you are the cause of their distress. So I'm going to give you a few memes to run this through. This meme is the violin
Oh yeah,
meme.
yeah, yeah.
You know the
Yep,
violin
I
meme.
know that one. I know
Well,
that
Well,
one.
there's the
right,
there's the this one,
The
which is
little
like I
one,
think
the
the
little
China,
one.
yeah, the little
Yeah.
one, which is like the
Yeah.
tiny
There's
violin.
also this
Whee!
Yeah.
one.
right.
What was
Ah!
that, Nikki? What was that?
This
Nikki, do
one,
that.
this one.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
Mwah,
Yeah. If you're
mwah,
Italian, like that's a little.
yeah,
That's a
mwah.
little extra. I know I'm extra.
Oh,
Yeah. You
I
see
like
me?
that.
No,
Oh, I like that a lot.
I have adopted my own. This is my bag of while they're freaking out, right? Right. So
Uh-huh.
like, right. So that is the way you're dealing with when they're attacking you. If a drama queen is having an episode and you're in public and the person's having an episode by you, just continue doing what you're doing, okay?
Yeah.
Just continue doing what you want. This person wants attention, and the world is
Yeah.
making a bunch of drama queens.
Mhm.
Everybody is becoming, I want to say, an attention whore. Everybody wants
Mhm.
attention, and I'm like, social media has them all messed up,
Very
all
competitive
jacked up.
for whatever
Mhm.
reason. Yeah, it's all like
Yeah.
a big
Can I
Mhm.
can
game.
I can I tell you what I do? And it might be silly to some people out there, but I do put on when I go out, I do put on an invisible cloak. I put it on, and so that, nobody can see me. Seems to
Right,
work. Seems to work.
right. Amy, I could see how
Mhm.
that works in your favor.
Mm.
You just being black. You know, we're beginning to see the dark side of Amy, right? So somebody has a big problem.
I was
Amy,
kind of,
We're learning a lot
I'm
layly.
dying,
I was,
right?
I was
Oh
kind of, I
no,
was
I
kind
have
of
an
waiting for the
invisible clock. You can't
punchline.
see me, so you can't be talking to me.
The
Right,
punchline.
Amy?
I was kind of waiting for the so. Oh my God!
I'm just
Look at
talking drama
Nikki's
queens.
cup.
I'm just talking.
Oh, it's my
Nikki's
Yeah,
cup can see you.
You
Nikki's
can
cup can see
see.
you.
yeah,
Wise.
yeah. I put it on. No, please don't think that I don't. I'm not. Don't want to assist people at times. I do. It's just those people, the dramas, the traumas, the
No,
Just the
there's a
people who can
love.
see through your invisible cloak.
Yeah, because you
distinction.
guys can see through it. You guys can see through it.
Uh
I allow
huh.
people to see through it.
Honestly,
Hmm.
there's a distinction to be had. These people that we're talking about, they've reached a pathology where it is they can no longer function as normal people. If you are advertising your drama and your trauma to people, like, can you imagine you running up to people and instead of saying, "My name is David, hi, my name is car accident." Yeah, that car accident that I had when I was 11 years old. Yeah, yeah. This is
Hmm.
it's like a resume for them. It's like they're giving you the curriculum vitae of trauma.
Hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And
And you
it's
know what?
like,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead,
Well, you
Patty.
know what? I'm just to kind of, and I think about this, like what all of these folks have in common as well, and what seems to be, in my opinion, at the core of these out of balance ways of relating to the world and the people in it, um, is an absolute lack of self worth.
Yes, correct.
Why are you
Correct.
laughing? You're mean.
Yes. No, because I know it's correct. Because I know when you speak, Patty, that's coming from a deep place. I know it's coming
I
from a
know.
deep place. I
So
know
I
you have
switched
somebody in
gears. I
mind.
switched gears. Did that throw you off? Because I'm always
It
like
does.
a smart ass. And so then I switched gears
I
into
know that's
like
coming from
the
a deep place. I
philosophical
know
and
you have somebody
pondering.
in mind when you're talking. I just know
Yeah.
it. Like the look on your face when you're talking is like, yeah, I'm talking about that person. I hope they're hearing this broadcast. All right, so talk about it, Patty.
No, I
Talk
mean,
about
I
it,
just,
Patty.
uh,
Go ahead.
no, all right. I see you guys are just, you'd rather me
No.
be a smart ass. But
No,
at
no,
any
no.
rate,
No. I love
no,
your
but,
No, no,
you know,
no.
philosophy. I
also
love your
like
views.
just as somebody who's kind of dealt like, a teacher for decades and so forth, and
Mhm.
worked with people in public and everything, and that is something that I kind of came away with, is that there's a real deep insecurity at the core
Yes.
of
Yeah.
these folks. And so in order to be significant in the world, I have to be dramatic. In order to be, my significance in the world is my trauma. To be significant in the world is my is this pretty body. I don't have anything else. It's just, and so like, it's just this real core insecurity. And I think that that's sad. I mean, I don't have, like, I'm not thinking of a solution to that at this point. I'm just thinking that I'm just sharing an observation,
Yeah.
from a place of being, empathetic, because I am empathetic. I do like to,
Yeah.
as Amy was saying, set boundaries, and
Yeah.
I'm going to deal with the people that I really want to be in, in my life, and choose not to be around people who I don't want to be in my life. But I do. It's not that I lack empathy, because I do. I really do empathize with these people. I just can't. I'm not the one who can help them.
Correct.
I'm just
Understood.
not the
Right.
one. And I think sometimes we spiritual folks, and I think this is the trap, and it might be part codependent or whatever. We think that it's our obligation to help everyone, to just help, to just help everyone. And, oh, they need this or they need that, or they're in, whatever. And that's not necessarily that really isn't necessarily true, and that's where people fall into, like, being a martyr or something. It's like, I'm
Mhm.
going to save this person.
And
I might
Patty,
drown. I might drown in the meantime, but I'm going to try to save this person or
yeah, and that's
whatever.
spiritual ego as well. When you think you're
Yeah,
there to banish ignorance from the land, like
yeah.
we've all been through it. When you've developed some kind of skill, whether it be Reiki or whether you've become a therapist of some kind, you are out there, and anybody that says anything like you want to offer help and whatever else, and
Mhm.
then after a few years, you begin to realize you have now been tagged as an energy source, and
Hmm.
Yeah.
everybody's taking parasitical
Mm,
energy off of you.
absolutely. And it's
Yeah.
expected.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, then you are, then people are angry, you
Yeah,
know?
Correct.
because the blame,
Yeah.
shame, guilt cycle starts all over
Yeah.
again. And then it
Big.
Absolutely.
comes into authenticity and what you're charging for your energy
Yeah.
services or work, because now you've given it a free because you had to save the world, but now
Hmm.
you're 5 years
Mhm.
out and you're broke. You
Right.
didn't
And
think
you
of it
Yeah.
realize,
correctly.
hmm,
Yeah, you're like,
that's
wow.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
That's
Yes,
right.
correct.
mhm.
Yeah.
What about the divas? I have so many questions. I have so many questions. And I'm glad that the entire panel are women, right? Because now I can ask all the male questions that people want to hear about and I can get answers and I'm not going to hold back. This diva construct where women put themselves, and I'm going to go on the men and the women as well, in a position where they make themselves uncomfortable just to be pretty. And then do they not realize that men don't care? We do not care about your long extended nails. We
Mm.
like listen to me. Can you imagine that you're a man and this beautiful woman comes up to you and you're like, wow, she's intelligent. She has everything going for her. But the nails too short. The nails are too short.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to throw this one back into the ocean. This is a bunch of shit. Like for
Yeah.
the women who are listening to this stuff, right? Like the truth of the matter is, if the man doesn't like you as you, then the man does not like you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
Hmm.
having said that, there are certain superficial men who will look for certain things, but as long as you present in a decent manner, I mean, like not like you haven't seen a shower for days. I mean, as long as you present in a decent
Yeah.
manner, right? Right? Men are going to appreciate the honesty and the directness, right? I have
Yeah.
three ladies here who are not afraid to say whatever is on their mind. So
Yep.
I know that I'm not dealing with people who are halfway. That is what a man is actually looking for. No
Hmm.
halfway people. And if
Hmm.
you are halfway. So what's with the itchy negligee and all that stuff? Do you really think? Listen, I want to do a poll with regard to men and so on, right? Like you pretty up yourself, you got the long nails, you got the eyelashes that could sweep the floor, right? You have a whole bunch of things going on for you. You did the Revlon. What else is
Yeah.
there? You have the
Hairpiece,
things.
The
wigs, hair
hair,
pieces.
the
Hair,
Yeah.
hair,
hair
wigs,
Hair
pieces, hair
pieces.
pieces.
You
nails.
have the thing that's showing the right
Hmm.
amount of cleavage and so on.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
painted on your jeans or whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
right?
Can't
You
breathe or
painted
eat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
right. You painted on your jeans and so on, and you
Spanx.
in
What about the
stiletto
Spanx?
heels. You're
Mm.
doing the tightrope walking in stiletto heels, and you think, "Damn, I look good." And the man is like, "Yeah, I don't care about any of that, any
That's
of
gonna
it."
be a lot to take off. It's gonna
Yeah.
be a
Right.
lot.
And what happens in the morning
Gonna be a lot
when you
to
take all that
right.
stuff
Oh my
off?
gosh. Right,
Yeah.
Nikki, I was
Mm.
thinking
Can you?
that.
Yeah.
Do you wash your face in the middle of the night? Do they
Yeah.
take everything off in the middle of the night
You
while the guy's
unclip it and
sleeping?
clip it back in. Like, yeah.
I
Tell me how
know.
you do this.
I don't know. I don't know. Anybody out there, put in the chat. What do you do?
Yeah. I was thinking about all of the teenagers that I've worked with over the years,
Mm,
and how much, particularly the girls, are influenced by social media,
Yeah.
and all the, the Instagram posts and the TikTok posts and all of that. And if there is a new trend, in looks, the girls are doing it. And so I just, more and more in the last few years, I saw the really long lashes and the really really long nails, and weaves, and like hair pieces that would just be down to the floor practically. I would see that, and these were girls who, they're um, were- they they were attractive girls, and yet they felt that they needed
More.
to do that,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah. Attractive.
attractive to
Attractive,
the
right.
boys. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it really got them any more attention than before. But it's really what, for some reason, particularly young. I mean, we're talking teenage girls feel that this is what they need to do to be attractive to boys. And it's still a curiosity to me, but I think it is driven by mostly by social media.
Influencers. Yeah.
Well, it's
It's
Yeah,
kind
also
of
the
like
the
their
influencers.
friends. It's also their
Yeah,
friends too. It's not just the
Yeah.
boys, because if all
yeah,
their little girlfriends are doing it, they want to keep up and do the appearances and
Yeah.
the
absolutely.
Botox.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
They're
like,
Do you
doing
see,
it.
gee,
do
I
you
you
see
want to
don't
how
need
do
unfair
it.
Botox.
this is? Do you see how
Mm,
unfair this is? A man will roll out of bed, not get up out
hmm.
of bed. He'll literally
Right.
just
Yeah.
roll onto the ground, roll
Hmm.
Yeah.
into his clothes, roll out the door, okay?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And not give a damn about anything else. I am telling you, right?
Hmm.
Whatever prettiness that you are presenting to a man, a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it, he does not care about.
Hmm.
Doesn't. So the divas who are concentrating, and I'm just talking about the women because we'll get to the men in a while. The divas who are concentrating on everything looking all pretty, like on steroids and so on. I am here to tell you, okay, that nobody cares about that.
Hmm.
Okay, the man is probably doing the X-ray vision of your
Yeah.
clothing. The $1,000 blouse that you're wearing, the man is probably
Yeah.
X-raying. He not even checking for the blouse, right? He's checking for what's underneath the blouse a lot of the times. And I'm saying that, and these are normal men, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But a lot of women have stupid things that they do. And I'm saying this, and I'm going to be critical here. If it is that you're doing some sort of test, I'm going to wear stuff that is going to show my cleavage to see whether he's really interested in me, whether he's looking at my eyes or looking at my chest. I want to give you a little bit of tip here from a psychotherapeutical point of view. The reason why men can't help but look at your cleavage has nothing to do with sexuality at all. It has to do with something a lot more uncomfortable than that. It actually has to do with the mother nurturing thing.
Mm.
They're looking at
Mm.
cerebrally and subconscious, they're
Yeah.
looking at food. That's
Yeah.
what they're looking at.
The
They have,
association.
that is not a test.
Hmm.
That is
Yeah.
not a test. They're looking
It's a
for
very
food. And
deep test.
if
Yeah.
that doesn't make you feel uncomfortable, I don't think anything else will, right?
Yeah.
Because imagine the man that's on your date looking at, oh my God, that might be food. No,
Mhm.
oh my God,
Oh
that might be
man.
So we have to laugh at these things because honestly, on the man's side, let me tell you something that I have experienced. I used to live in Toronto. There is a new generation of men who want to look better than their girlfriends. Can you imagine? I'm not promoting pride or anything. You go out with your significant other, everybody's complimenting your significant other on how soft and bouncy their hair is, and you are getting no compliments. Okay, so when I lived in Toronto, I used to take the train, and on that train there were about 100 Justin Biebers, skin perfect, right? Right, they're wearing the skinny suits and so on, and then Mac Toronto started with a new line of makeup for men. Okay, now I'm here to tell you,
Yeah.
I don't think some women like that kind of thing, the pretty boy construct. Okay,
Yeah.
the problem is that the pretty boy construct is not mowing the lawn. They might
No.
break a nail.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
pretty boy construct will not change a tire. They won't.
Hmm.
So you have to debate whether you are trading functionality for prettiness. So there's the
Yeah.
diva thing. There's a price to be paid for diva-esque behavior.
Oh
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
you got to trade something to get something. Are
Yeah.
you willing to trade that? Are you willing to trade that when you go into the bathroom, when you shack up with your significant other and you're living together? When you go into the bathroom, at least three drawers in the bathroom cabinet belong to him and his products. Are you willing to trade shelf
Mhm.
space
You know.
for that? These are the things that I want to ask people.
Yeah.
Because from a spiritual point of view, that's from a spiritual point of view, I honestly do not think that being able, concentrating so much on the external has any value for people who are looking internally. Because I think that once you start pointing your vision outwardly, you don't need a third eye, do you? You just don't need one, right?
Mhm.
So
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yeah.
that's my response to that.
Yeah.
Anybody else on the diva thing? Because the dolls are
Well,
another thing.
I mean, I think that divas are promoted again on social media. It's what you see a lot. See a lot of divas. See a lot of divas. However, I'm not so sure divas. I'm not so sure the divas are the ones who people find most attractive. When you have a
No,
choice of a wide spectrum of people, I'm not so sure that the majority of women will go for the diva guy or the majority of guys will go for the diva woman. I really don't think so. But women seem to, because we've been manipulated into thinking that's the thing that everybody is so attracted to. But I think if you put a bunch of people in a room, and you've got a handful of divas and everybody else is just kind of ordinary down to earth, I'm pretty sure it'd be the divas
Yeah,
that get picked last, not
yeah,
first, because that's a whole lot of work and
Work.
energy, and for what, so I'm just, and I think that goes for both men and women.
yeah.
That's just
Patty,
my opinion.
what happened to substance? You remember substance? What we
Yeah.
used to call substance? Whatever
Hmm.
happened to those things? A substance is like the innate qualities that you have that make you
Yeah.
a real person,
Hmm.
Mhm.
not just a
Hmm.
shell. So I
Hmm.
remember, like honestly, when I talk to an individual, it doesn't matter in what situation I find myself in when I'm talking to an individual. Here are the things that I want to see. I want to see that you actually have a spine.
Hmm.
Okay. I want to see that you actually have some sense of decency and morality. I
Hmm.
want to see these kinds of things, right? If you are
Well,
just presenting nicely formed flesh,
yeah,
that's
so
temporary.
Yeah,
it is. And
that's
honestly, everything that you just named that has to do with substance has to do with the human soul.
Correct.
And I think that the whole focus on the shell, and that's all that counts, that's all that matters, is us kind of moving toward, or there are forces in the world who'd like to move us towards kind of a soulless future. Like
Yeah.
because everything that you just said has to do, our strength, our courage, our substance, it's the stuff that makes us, our personality, that is all connected to our soul, our
yeah,
spirit. So, that's kind of, I think, and that's the danger in emphasizing so much of this. But I see even in teenagers, they return, like they dabble in all of this stuff. And then I've had conversations with young people who come back and say, I learned that that was so not what I want. I want someone who will, do this for me and that. And so for them be real. I want someone who's real. And so even with young people, they kind of come around. They have that experience, and then they come around and see, that's what they want. They want substance.
yeah. And I was thinking while you guys were talking, like the word conversation came up. And it's
Mm,
just like having a conversation with people can get you so much of their soul
yeah,
to you.
yeah.
And I was thinking, and I'm sure you guys remember the dating game when the girl didn't see the guys, did they? They
No,
only they only
heard them,
chose them by what they said
what they said.
and how they felt. So it's
Hmm.
kind of like I don't know why that came to mind, but it was like we need to get back to that, like just have
Hmm.
conversations
Hmm.
behind maybe behind a curtain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. But I don't know, that just seems there's just something very sweet about that
Yes, and
to
I
me.
have to make a confession here. I have to make a confession. Um, because I guess I'm the only man on the panelist, so I'm gonna have to make a confession. When a woman presents herself as pretty with nothing else behind it, my visual sense kicks in, and I do things like I erase your eyebrows, like make your ears pointed, like just to stay engaged in the conversation. I am being I'm very direct and honest. Don't present without a soul. Don't present without a soul. It is bad
Mhm.
policy,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
most men, if you present without a soul, that man, there's nothing that that man can connect to. There's nothing that
Mhm.
he can connect to. So you are temporary. Everything about you is temporary,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
this is
You're
Yeah.
basically.
just, yeah, disposable. You're a shell who can be, and he'll
Mhm.
do what he does,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
next.
Right, but
Yeah.
And
that's the
then
sad part. That's the sad part with
Yeah.
all the plastic. How are you, if you're not living an authentic life, how are your people, your tribe supposed to find you if you're
Yeah,
not
that's true.
Mhm.
authentic? I mean,
Mhm. It's
you're
not
just going to
mm,
gravitate towards people that are just as fake as you are. So
yeah.
it's not a win-win situation
Mhm.
at
No.
all. No.
Yeah.
No.
So let's talk about dolls. How to reform the doll. We've already told the divas, guys, do not, it's bad policy to present without a soul, right? If you're not
Mhm.
coming to the conversation with anything on board, you're not coming to a conversation. You're coming to a monologue, okay? And it's going in that direction at you, not in, not as a conversation between people. The dolls are the people who I am pretty, take care of me. Can't you see how pretty I am? These are the people who we used to call gold diggers. That's a quality of dolls. Um, but what people don't understand about dolls is that a doll is temporary. Plastic will not last. Okay, it'll
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
decompose like just about anything else. And if you're not bringing anything else to the table, then the man will dispose of you. You know how many clients I have had as a psychotherapist, right? And Nikki, you would have had clients like that as well, whose husbands are cheating on them, whose wives are cheating on them, specifically because there was nothing there to keep them engaged. There was nothing there to keep them engaged.
Yeah.
And there's no spiritual basis that connects the two people.
Mhm.
Okay? There was no spiritual connection between the two people. So, what ends up happening is that they never factor in time to their superficiality, because time is one of those universal forces that will erase a lot of things. Nothing will stand in this world against time. Okay, so if it is that you presented as this doll, you gotta keep that up forever,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right? But even if you keep it up that way, how are you different? Look, if a man is looking at you as something to, become intimate with, and that's all that man is looking at you as, you will not last in a relationship with that man. So I don't know how that works. And by the way, the pretty thing and the pretty privilege and so on, it's actually very annoying when it is that you're speaking to people with pretty privilege.
Mhm.
Right,
What
because
is
the
your
conversation
The-
only
What
lasts like
is,
2 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah, and then we're like, okay, what's for lunch? Like, there's nothing to
Yeah.
talk about. Like,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
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 what what
I mean, and
advice?
ultimately in relationships,
Mhm.
people want love.
Yeah.
And where does that, where does that fit in these scenarios, you know? So,
Where's the soul growth in that relationship
Yeah.
to get
absolutely.
through 40, 50, 60 years together,
Yeah.
whatever it
Right.
is, right? Yeah, because our souls keep evolving. So how are you going to
Mhm.
grow if you only have sex? It's not going to
Exactly.
work.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
It's gratuitous. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We used to have an idea about relationships. We used to have an idea about getting involved with somebody from a spiritual perspective, even in whether you're pagan or whether you're religious, right?
Mhm.
Mm.
Where the individuals are individual souls And because you're supposed to see God through that other individual in idealist in an idealist way. That person is supposed to make you see God through that individual. You're supposed to see,
Absolutely.
right? And
Yeah.
so
Yes.
if all you're seeing when you look at your wife is, yeah, you look like fun. If all you're seeing is when you look at that individual, then you are not growing. You literally stunt yourself. And
Hmm.
that's where the infidelity and all that stuff comes in, because people want to grow even more than
Yes.
wanting love. They want to grow, and love is one of
Hmm.
the things that makes you grow. Period. Point. There's more than the small interactions that happen in a relationship, and I'm not talking about the whole sexual thing. The small interactions when you wake up one day and you realize, oh shit, I really love this person. Like love. Like that person is my family. That these small interactions that happen, these are expansions that happen within yourself, huh?
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
a lot of people
for
don't get.
sure. For sure.
These are expansions that happen within yourself. So a lot of people don't get that. Honestly, for a doll, my suggestion, if you are a doll at present, would be to stop what you're doing.
Hmm.
Stop, immediately stop. Right? Find
I was
yourself
thinking, yeah.
some basis to work with. Go ahead, Amy.
No, I was just thinking of the word deconstruction because you constructed that whole thing to show people, and now it's kind of like a deconstruction of that.
Hmm.
See what it's like to go out. Take everything that you know that you put on, lipstick, hair, whatever it is, nails, and take it off and go out.
Hmm.
I mean, to me, that would be what I would do because I do kind of challenge myself. Like, let's see what it's like. See what
Yeah.
attention you get. It'll be a different kind of attention.
Hmm.
There's nothing
It'll.
more attractive than somebody who is so sure of themselves in terms of confidence when it comes to women. All right.
Mhm.
That is
Mhm.
a true statement. That is a truism that has not um, gone. And you have to be able to respect the women that can step up and step out.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to, whether or not you may think, and I want to say something with regard to the construct which we now see as feminism. Feminism is not something, I don't think, from my personal opinion, from a man. I'll shut up very quickly after this. All right, I know you don't need me mansplaining anything, but from my perspective, my personal opinion is the following. Um, there are people who advertise themselves as feminists who are in fact dolls and divas. Okay.
Mm.
When I lived in an island in Barbados, there was a lady who used to cook Rastafarian food. Her name was Judah. Judah would wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, start cooking for the day, and would put food out, and people would buy food from this woman. She had 5 kids. She was providing for those 5 kids by utilizing her skill set, right? And plying a business that was an honest business. There wasn't one person who arrived at that woman's door that did not respect her. Okay? So you wanted to ask me about feminism and so on. When people ask me about feminism, I'm like, Jude is a feminist.
Hmm.
She did not ask anybody for money.
Hmm.
She did not try to make herself look pretty, right?
Hmm.
She didn't do anything, and everybody respected that woman. Everybody did.
Mhm.
That's the real talk. This is when we're talking about real people doing real shit.
Mhm.
Okay?
Hmm. Hmm.
So that woman, I remember her to this day. Okay? And I knew this woman like 10, 12 years ago. Okay? I remember her to this day because she registered in my mind as a real person, realist person. And so I don't know what to say where that is concerned. When if you're doing the doll thing, you got to really think, because you don't know who you are.
No. Yeah, who are you when no one's looking? I mean, that's the real question.
And why are you acting? when it's not your authentic self.
You're right.
Yeah, and what happens when gravity takes over? Did you think of that? You know what I mean? Like, you got to think of these things. And plus, people
Yeah.
are actually literally dying for plastic surgery. They're going to different
Yes.
places in the world to try to get a discount, and
Yes.
hear about it all the time. It's
Me
dangerous.
too.
It's scary. It's sad. Yeah.
It is.
All right. You all have any more suggestions for any of these categories of people?
Wow.
Because we did a lot today.
We did.
Yeah, yeah. We
We
made some
covered it.
enemies. We made some friends.
Not really. It's okay.
Right. Made some friends, stuck
Well,
some
we will.
needles, stuck some needles in some dolls. You know.
Yeah.
Honestly, guys, no, this has been actually a good podcast with you guys because, like, I couldn't think of anybody else that I wanted to have this discussion with. Right? And yeah, having the majority of this podcast being women, yep, I got
Yep.
to ask my questions. All right, so we have a giveaway to give away to these people, and I am going to switch screens momentarily. So if you guys have your phones ready, this is a biohacking course. It will lead you into the community to allow you to access that course, along with a bunch of other resources we have in there for you. We also are doing a movie night on Sunday night. We're doing The Peaceful Warrior. We have enabled the chat on movie night so that you guys can actually have discussions with us and talk during the movie. I should say, type during the movie. Do not talk during the movie, right? And so when you guys scan this code, you will be asked to join the community where there are a bunch of free resources for you guys. I am now about to switch. You guys have any objections?
No.
Oh.
Okay, guys, scan away. This is your code for today.
And you absolutely want to join the community because we have so many resources there, and we just loaded a whole bunch more. So definitely head over, and because you're going to miss out if you don't. So
Okay, I will be taking this down in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and so we're back. Well, we're almost back. Yes, we're back. And so, guys, give these people a way to get in touch with y'all. All of you, I'm just going to put your information up on the screen right now. Anyone can go first.
okay,
You
anybody can
go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
You can find me. Sorry, Nikki. You can find me at pattyluciawrites.com. That's my website. You can you can find my books and my services at that website, and of course, you can email me at patty@pattyluciawrites.com. I also do a podcast, Pink Moon Lodge podcast, with my dear friend over here,
Yes.
Amy.
Mhm.
That goes up
Yes.
every Wednesday. If you join our Facebook page, you get to see the podcast a couple days early. So that's one, and you get to see
Yeah.
some of the other silly stuff that we put up in the meantime.
Yes. 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 Pink Moon Lodge podcast.
All right, Nikki.
Yes, anybody can find me on UCM's networks, especially in the community. And I can also be found on my website, which is solutionsforyourself.com. So head on over there, and I have a solution for you. It doesn't matter what you have going on. So definitely look me up, and I look forward to assisting.
Okay, and for me, you guys can find me at info@universalcitizentv.com. And for those of you who have something to say, whether you all agree with us or disagree with us, please come on the show. Let's have that kind of
Yeah.
discussion, right? So just email me at info@universalcitizentv.com. I'm just going to put that code back up on the screen again for those of you who didn't get it the first time. Right. And if y'all didn't get it the second time, y'all can get it on replay on social media. All right. Guys, this has been a wonderful broadcast. We will see all of you guys later.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.